You're listening to The Blind Chick, an Aftersight original podcast. We're telling you stories about strength, overcoming hurdles, and living experiences. We see who you really are. Blindness can be an adventure. Are you ready for the journey of a lifetime? We are. What is up, everybody? Jonathan Price, your podcast producer here. You're listening to part 2 of The Blind Chick with Penn and Moses Street. It's going to be a great episode. If you guys are interested in joining Spirit Club, go to spiritclub.org and put in the promo code Aftersight at checkout for a small discount. That way you can get some good services, get yourself healthy, not only for yourself, but for your friends, your family, and for just getting up and getting out and doing something. And speaking of doing something, we've got an incredible hike coming up on September 13th. The Audio Trekker Aftersight hike is going on. I think this is our 5th annual hike, and it's going to be awesome. We've got bring your guide dog, bring your cane. We've got sighted guides, and we're going to have food and music and fun. And it's just going to be a wonderful experience to be able to be in community and fellowship with those who are blind and low vision and support each other. It's always been a wonderful time, and we have lots of stories that are going to come out of it. So be there, be square. It'll be awesome. All right, Penn, I'm going to let you ask a very unique question of Jared. So take it away.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any like standout stories where, maybe a member, somebody sort of overcame some of those personal obstacles through exercise?
Yeah. Oh man, which ones to tell? I think a good story is our very first Spirit Club class ever taught. I remember somebody came in, his name was Michael, and I was teaching a group. It was a really nice group, maybe 10 people. And Michael, I remember he walked in, he looked around. I said, "Hey, Michael, come join us." He took one look around and got a sense of what this was all about, and he turned right around and he's like, "Nope, not for me." And I respected that. At the end of the class, I went and found him and his mom, and his mom said, "I don't think he's really interested in the group setting, but could we try some personal training?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Sure, yeah, come meet me here, tomorrow." And then, she's like, "Well, I'm not sure about this setting. Can you come to our house?" I said, "Definitely." So I met him at their house, started working out, maybe 20, 25 minutes in. And I remember a couple times being literally chased out of the house. Like, he was done and he was showing me he was done. And that was the end of it, And I think there's times where you could look at that and say, okay, this is not working, right? This is not a good fit for him. But I think the most important thing about our, to always keep in mind that we always want to do and teach all of our trainers to do is, focus on the positives and celebrate the success, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he didn't do a group. Okay. He didn't want to come back to the gym. Okay. He didn't let me do a full hour. Okay. But he let me do 20. We had a great 20 minutes of exercise. It was way, outside of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
So we come back the next week, 25 minutes. The next week, 30 minutes, right? Maybe we go back, back down one week. He's just not feeling it, but you stick with it, right? Eventually we're doing full hour sessions.
Wow.
And I said, "Hey, how about we try this at the gym? There's more equipment there, a little resistance, but eventually, okay, let's do it." We're going to the gym. Now we're watching the classes from afar, right? Hey, look at the class. Wouldn't that be fun? I see him kind of looking over his shoulder, like he's like, okay, what is this group setting over here that he was originally so intimidated by?
Yeah.
And, time goes on and he's eventually doing, group classes. Now he works at our front desk and helps greet people. So I think, just really focusing on those successes and just, everything is a journey and a process, right? As we grow, whether it's your fitness or your social comfort or whatever it is, right, in your life, and just being patient and being positive and, sharing that patience and positivity, with the people around you, and focusing on that. And, it sounds cliche, but like, you can accomplish so much if you just have a good support in place and people who believe in you.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Wow.
Thanks for sharing that.
So that would fit. There was a term in our notes, trauma informed, and that's seems to apply. We don't know what that means. And it
I
seems
know
to
what it
apply to the
means.
story. Yeah. Seems to apply to the story you just told. Is there's way more to overcome for a lot of us than just getting to the gym to get in shape.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think just being able to, yeah, I mean, so many people have so many negative experiences in their lives, right? And so I think really just being able to try to turn that around and say, you know, what is something that you're enjoying that we can build off of, right? What's a positive experience that we could focus on? And, I think that does lend itself a lot to fitness. People will focus on, well, you have weak, your weak quads and your poor balance and
Oh,
negative, right? And that's what we got to focus on. And that might be right, but that's not always going to be the right approach, right? Like, hey, let's pinpoint all the things you're bad at and do lots of them, right? That's, some people could go in that direction, but I think for a lot of people, we want to hear, I love playing basketball. So let's address those challenges that I have through things that I'm good at, right? Through things that
mm,
I enjoy doing and kind of, target those things by focusing on someone's strengths and feeding into what what they're comfortable doing and enjoy doing. I think that's really a sustainable path towards helping somebody make a positive difference. Because if you go and you try and do something, and it's exactly what you needed, it addresses all your weaknesses, but you hated it and you didn't have any
yeah,
fun, then great, you
yeah,
had one super effective session and you'll never come back. But if you have that experience where you feel comfortable and happy and proud of yourself, even if you're not maybe getting as much done technically in that one session, but you're going to come back and look forward to it and you're going to want to do it multiple times a week, well, that opens the door for a much more sustainable and a much more successful path towards self-improvement.
absolutely.
That makes way more sense than because the other one that you're using as the bad example seems to be the norm. So,
Yeah. I mean, some people like the boot camp drill sergeant approach, but
Do
that's not
they?
not
I
all.
yeah, yeah. Uh, so it would. Oh, there was another one. So adaptive equipment.
Mhm.
Uh, what if people are online? How does adaptive equipment come into it? Like you recommend things they could get?
Yeah, so I think right. So, having an adaptive program, right? In some cases, that's going to involve some equipment. We do want to work on giving people those tools to be able to adapt their program. From an equipment standpoint, we try to require as little equipment as possible if you're doing stuff online. There's so much you can do with your body, right? Just moving your body in natural space, especially if you're
Right.
focusing on making your workouts functional, right? And that's a huge, part of Spirit Club's philosophy is you want to think about what do I do in my day-to-day life, right? Physically, how do I move around? And what are the things that are challenging for me that I want to
Mm,
be easier,
yeah,
right? Maybe it's going up and down stairs. Maybe it's transferring, from a seated position into a different seat. Whatever it is, right? And you can build the goal is to build a fitness program that will directly help you make those day-to-day functional movements easier for you, right? And sometimes I think people overthink it. You think you need a lot of equipment to accomplish those things, or you need, fancy machines. But I really think ultimately, if you can practice those movements and break them down so that they're maybe at a better level for you and you're able to build your way up, that's all you need. And if it's a day-to-day movement you're doing all the time, then most likely you don't need a big contraption to practice it, right? It's
right,
something that you're
right.
doing with your body in natural space. So like I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was working out with my mom. She's here visiting in town, and she says, I really want to be able to get up and down off the ground, right? I want to be able to play with,
Mm,
her grandkids or be able to
yeah,
safely get up and down. And so we said, okay, there's four movements to get up and down, right? You're going to step back and do a little back lunge, right? Then
right.
you're going to, put your other leg back. So you're up down on your knees. You're going to put your hands down on the ground, and then you're going to, shift your weight over and sit down on the ground. getting back up, you're just doing everything in reverse, right? Coming up onto a tabletop, lifting one knee, one foot in front of you and getting your chest up. And then, doing a forward lunge, standing upright. And you put it all together and it's very intimidating. And you can't
Right.
necessarily remember that.
And it's on social media, like that
Yeah.
whole thing, getting up off the floor without using your hands. It's all
Oh,
for
right.
self. It's all for
Right.
self.
Exactly. So for her, we just say, hey, we're going to take these 4 movements and make them each an exercise. We're going to do 10 lunges. We're going to do
Oh,
10 times, sitting on the ground and shifting into tabletop, back down on your bottom, up onto your hands and knees, back down on your bottom. Let's do each one 10 times just to build
that's
the confidence.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, now you could not only get up and down once, you could get up and down 10 times if you put those 10 reps together. Right. And now then
Right.
it's just about the practicing the brain. Now let's just remember the sequence. So it becomes more of second nature. So I'm not really answering your question about adaptive equipment, but I think the goal is to not need equipment, right? To
Yeah.
be able to have that accessibility through, just being able to do it anywhere, anytime with what you have. But then
Right.
certainly, making sure you do have, especially for in-person stuff, any equipment you need to help you and making sure we're always, having those adaptations available.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm all about that because one, I'm really cheap and I don't want to buy equipment. But it's like I jokingly that my garden, excuse me, which requires a phenomenal amount of work, is my summer gym.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even because as a photographer, I'm working on prints on the computer all the time, I shifted to standing. And so when I shifted to standing, an hour was killer. And now I can stand at the computer for 8 hours easily with no break.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just taking things that you do on a regular basis. I love that idea. And I'm going to shift a little here is, um, you collaborate with other agencies and disability organizations like Insight?
Aftersight.
Yeah.
Aftersight. Insight's wonderful too. So everybody who loves Aftersight should check out Insight.
Yeah, those partnerships, those are a huge part of our, our network and our business. So many people have an organization that is like their home base, looking, for
Mhm.
their resources, their activities, they learn about, new opportunities. And so when we partner with an organization, and we can do anything from make us available, help the people you support, raise their awareness that something like Spirit Club exists, all the way to a more formal partnership where, hey, we're going to give you access to our programs and you can share them as a part of your own activities, right? Like, we have a lot of day program providers who will literally pull up the Spirit Club virtual platform and share a yoga class every Monday
Yeah.
and a Zumba class every Tuesday. And it's, it's their program, available through, or it's Spirit Club's program available through their organization. So yeah, we love partnering with organizations. We have, from an in-person standpoint, people will bring groups to our gym, or we'll send a trainer to them. So yeah, those organizations, I mean, they're so crucial for for people to have access to the services out there. And I think that, us partnering with them is, you know, also so crucial to making fitness more available through that pathway.
So
And
not knowing the answer, Aftersight could have a link
yes.
that our followers could just watch you anytime by coming to Aftersight.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we've actually talked about that. We at the moment we don't have a space, but we have talked about um figuring that out. I did want to ask Jared, does Spirit Clubs, because what you're doing is it really is cutting edge, right? You're really changing the landscape of accessibility in fitness. To me, you are. I don't know if you know that, but are you guys playing a bigger role in advocacy for, you know, for health, equity, and inclusion even outside of Spirit Club? Like, are you talking to gyms? Are you talking to other fitness groups so that they're making, changes within their own programs?
Yeah, it's a really good question and idea. I think that, right now we do some advocacy work. We were able to help start up a separate nonprofit organization a few years after Spirit Club started that focuses more on advocacy and accessibility. It's called Spirit Club Foundation. Great, awesome organization. It raises money to help individuals pay for exercise activities through scholarships, to help organizations pay for exercise programs through grants that it will give out and provide, and also focus on advocacy. So, helping to open up funding mechanisms. Like out here in Maryland, there are, Medicaid waivers that, were not very favorable to, funding things like exercise and fitness.
Right.
So helping to kind of change that, make more financial options and avenues available. Going at it from the fitness side, I think is really, really valuable. We have created like a certification that's just based off of our internal staff training that we provide to fitness instructors. So when we hire a new trainer, we teach them all about disability awareness, inclusion, language, um, you know, uh, adaptations to exercises, exercise considerations for different populations. And we basically said, well, if we're teaching this to our fitness instructors, why not make this available to fitness professionals, outside of our organization? So we do have that certification that is launching that allows professionals in the fitness industry to have that new knowledge, which I
I
think will really
love
help from
that.
that
That's awesome.
advocacy and awareness side. We haven't quite launched it yet, but I think it's pretty close.
So how do people join the movement? Like, how do they find out more about Spirit Club? And even we have listeners all over the world, and that's why Spirit Club is so cool, because you can access this whatever time zone you're in.
Yeah. Our website has all the good stuff. It's just spiritclub.com. Easy to remember. There you can learn about in-person programs, a link to our online programs. Whether you're an organization or an individual community member, you should find all the options and programs available for you. That certification will be available online there as well soon. And I will say excitedly, we have just launched our first kind of like branch out. We're based in Maryland. We got started in
Yeah.
Maryland and really, really learned and kind of soaked up this landscape here, I think, to really make our services available. But now after 12 years, I think we've have enough confidence to say we're ready to try to scale this out. And our first non-local hub is actually Denver. And
Really?
yes, and today is our wonderful Colorado territory manager's first day.
Oh,
So yeah,
wonderful.
she's going through kind of our orientation, and our goal is to have in-person fitness programs up and running by September in Colorado.
Wow, that is so
So this could
exciting.
not have been better timed, and it's great that you're all located there, so we can continue to do more things with our partners.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
exciting.
Yeah, well, it's my hometown. I don't know if I mentioned that. I was born and
Oh,
raised.
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, getting back to my roots.
That's right. That's right. Well, Jared, like I said, people all over the country, and actually the world, follow us. What's a message from you to the community? Just
Yeah,
because there are people out there that, may be timid about trying something new.
sure.
Or maybe it's somebody, I know here on the podcast, we interview a lot of people that were really into fitness and then either got a diagnosis or an accident or something,
Mm,
and, put them in the disability community. And so they're
right.
nervous about doing it differently now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, just quick note, because you reminded me there, and then I will share a nice message. But we did receive a grant through NIH
Yes.
recently that is specifically designed to enhance our virtual platform and create classes and videos specifically for people recovering from a brain injury.
Oh,
And that
wow.
includes stroke survivors or traumatic brain injury survivors. And so, I think that just kind of speaks to that, there's people who maybe were born with a disability or people who had a life experience,
Yeah.
that they are navigating. And I think in any of those situations, our goal is to make sure you have something that can help you, you know, guide you through your fitness journey and make you, uh, make progress there. And so we're excited to be able to launch that program soon as well. And I think that kind of just segues into the message. The takeaway is, now I've been doing this for 13 years, and I cannot count the amount of times I've heard people say that, I can't do this, or my son or daughter or the person I work with can't do this, right? Like they can't exercise. Exercise is not something for them. Good idea, but they can't, these guys could do it, these guys can't do it.
Yeah.
We hear it all the time. And I will
Yeah.
say, any time that people who feel that way are still willing to try,
Yeah.
they have 100% success rate,
Mm.
right? There's never been someone who comes in and says, and who tries with an open mind and says, I'm gonna push myself, right? I'm gonna follow the guidance of my instructors. Always people can make progress.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as somebody who can't benefit from movement, right? We even have people who come in who have, no mobility without support,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And, our trainers will help, take their hand and stretching
Yeah.
up, stretching forward. And you can see this, you can see the change in
Yes.
somebody's mood. That comes with just there's moving your body, which is just like medicine in itself,
Yes.
and having that interaction with a new, warm, smiling person.
Yeah.
And, when you're looking for the value, in some cases more than others, in some cases it's more obvious than others, but it's always there, I think. And no matter who you are listening to this, if you feel comfortable working out, awesome. If you don't feel comfortable working out, even if you literally feel like I can't work out, exercise is not something I can do, I would say give it a try, because it is really, a beautiful thing, and you can do it. You just need to, maybe, find those doors, find a way to open those doors, or whatever it is that feels like a barrier. Reach out to Spirit Club, and we will be happy to try to open those doors or remove those barriers for you.
That's awesome, Jared.
Yeah.
I do believe there is a very very strong connection between mental health and physical health. And if you can just get out, even just move. I've seen it over and over myself with all the work I've done, and even with myself, going through all the health crud that I'm going through right now. Even just yesterday, I've kind of hit the bottom and just exhausted with some health stuff that's going on. And I was like, oh shoot, I need to get on and do a little bit like I knew about the yoga with Spirit Club, but I'm like, and I knew about the in-person classes, but I was like, I've never gone through the process of doing one, just a virtual one. And I said, I need to do that so I can talk about it. And there was a dance one that popped up. It was when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try that. And it was so fun. And it probably wasn't pretty on any level, but nobody saw me, except my guide dog, who thought I was a little weird. He kept barking at me, but it was just, I couldn't believe how much better I felt after just moving. And it was a short class. I just put in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing too. You can control how long. But instead of me looking at it as exercise, because I'm like, I am too depleted to exercise, but I could dance. And Moses and I talk about this a lot. Get outside, be seen.
Yes.
And I think if you can get your body moving inside, you're more likely to get outside. And it to me, it all is all connected, at least for me personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just the simpleness of moving, because I'm a moody guy and I am not always at my best going into an interview like today. And I just started a routine before every podcast of all kinds of crazy rapid movement, running in place, jumping jacks, push-ups, just about 5 minutes, and it just like changes everything just in that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or else this whole interview, I would have been, hey, Jared, what's up?
He does. Whenever we get on,
And I've heard a
should do a
term.
video.
I've heard a term for that. That's referred to now as exercise snacks, which I love. Which is,
Ooh,
you don't need to, carve out a full hour. I mean, you can literally.
That's right. Oh,
I'm
I
just
like
gonna
that.
real quick, walk to the end of my block and walk back. I got 5 minutes. I'm gonna just do, a few jumping jacks or push-ups or chair squats or whatever you got, whatever you can do. Find that thing that's easy that you can do in 5 minutes. That's not torture for you, that you can have some fun with, and just squeeze it in here and there, because you do it 3 or 4 times a day, and you're close to a half hour right there.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
and to show you how finding something you love, because I love working in the garden. So for me, like in my room, to do 10 to 20 squats is painful and irritating.
Yeah.
But I go out and weed in the garden in over 4 hours. I might do 300 squats.
That's right.
Because it's something I love.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
get out there and move.
That's right. Yeah. And Jared, thank you so much for coming on today. A huge shout out to what Spirit Club is doing. And it really is changing the landscape for all of us. Go to spiritclub.com, and you can use promo code Aftersight and get a discount, which is awesome that they are doing that with us. And
Can I do that too?
I can hook you up, sweetie.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But yeah, and I personally, the blind chick here, I can say, I'm a member of Spirit Club, and which is one of the reasons I wanted Jared to come on. I really love their programs, and I really cannot get to the gym right now. Like physically, I cannot get over there with all the health stuff I have going on, especially with my heart. But I can do these things with Spirit Club, because if I am getting dizzy, I have my own couch. I can just sit down, take a deep breath. I have my own water bottle. I don't have that extra pressure. Like Jared said, somebody's staring at your back, or you're, staring at somebody else's back. It takes away all those barriers. It's just you and these amazing people that are doing this incredible program with Spirit Club. So check them out. And I know that when you do register as a new person, you get a week, they give you a week free trial. So you can check it out. And like Jared said, you're going to check it out, and it is going to work. It's 100%, right? Yeah. And also we do have, speaking of exercising and doing the fun things, on September 13th, that's right around the corner, is our annual hike. And we make it completely accessible for anybody who's blind or low vision, deaf, hard of hearing. If you have a different disability and you want to figure out, let's figure it out together so you can be part of it. It's in Boulder, Colorado. Check it out at aftersight.org/hike, and you can see all the details there. And remember this week to be kind to yourselves and find a way to be kind to somebody else. It's good for your soul.